So let's see. There he is. Hope fail. Fail. There we go. All right, let's chat and play some Counter-Strike. So this morning I listened to a podcast which was recommended to me by a colleague, Nick Bly. And this podcast was about a theory known as optimal stopping. And I'll link the original podcast in the description below. Optimal stopping addresses many scenarios, a lot of which we face every single day. I'll give you an example. If you've ever tried to rent or buy a house in a saturated or seller's market, then you might know what I'm talking about. You see, let's use San Francisco as an example. As you can imagine, it's pretty difficult to find a house in San Francisco. And what this means for the people looking to buy or rent the house is that they have to basically make a decision on whether they want to make an offer on the house within seconds or minutes of actually seeing the property. Oh, there's head. Damn it. You know, if you don't make a offer on the house within the first few minutes or so, then you basically miss the opportunity to buy the house altogether. So at what point do you actually make this decision? I mean, would you buy the first house that you see? Probably not. Would you buy the second house you see if it's better than the first one? Again, probably not. But at what point should you actually make an offer? I mean, should you view 100 houses, 200 houses? At what point does it make logical sense to actually buy the best house that you've seen? So mathematicians have answered this question, and statistics would suggest that you should spend 37% of your time exploring options before you make a decision. After that 37%, then you should buy the first house that you see that is better than the others you've already seen. Where's this guy? Damn you, Rob. So this principle can be applied to a lot of other areas of our lives. One which I find particularly interesting is design. You see, with design, you're constantly searching for the best solution to a problem. But when do you stop looking? I mean, when do you know that you have the best solution? Yeah. I mean, with design, when do you know if you have the best solution? Or when is it in your best interest to actually stop looking? Now, I don't really have an answer for this, and I'm not quite sure that we ever really will have an answer for this. But it's still incredibly interesting to pose the optimal stopping theory to this problem, where you could spend 37% of your time exploring new design options, and then you could kind of settle for the next best option that you stumble across. Now, the problem with applying optimal stopping with this context is that you would be learning things as you went, and you would be applying your learnings to each new solution. And this factor isn't generally associated with the optimal stopping theory. Instead, this crosses over into another theory, which is known as exploration versus exploitation, where exploration would be to try something new, to seek new information, and exploitation would be to exploit what you already know or to do something familiar. Now, this is an innate part of our lives as human beings, where we spend our early childhood years constantly exploring the world around us as a means of learning and gathering more information about the world in which we live. I see your head. I see your head. Damn it. See ya. See you later, Pablo Escobar. I mean, we learn almost explicitly through exploration in our younger years, but as we grow older, we cross into a more exploitative means of living where we favor familiar experiences. That spray was beautiful. And this is not only an idiom of elder people, that they are simply stuck in their ways, but it's actually in their best interests to be this way. I mean, if we also transpose the optimal stopping theory onto the explore versus exploit theory, then it would make sense that as we get older, we have hit the point where we no longer need to explore, that we have kind of found the best solutions that we'll find, or at least it's not in our best interests to keep looking. See ya. Now, it's not in our best interest to keep looking because the reward of finding something better is no longer worth it because we really only have a few years left to actually enjoy that benefit. So the risk is not worth the reward. Now, this is where it gets really interesting in relation to design. There comes a point where it's no longer in our best interest to explore new options. That we all know. But no one's quite sure when this point is, or at least when it would make most sense to. When does the risk begin to outweigh the chance of reward? Well, it's all entirely relative. It depends how much time you have to spend. And with design, at least at a societal and cultural level, there really is no time limit. Now yes, I understand that personally and professionally we do have limits. But at a grander scale, where does this end? When will we ever sit back and say, you know what, this cup is perfect? Alright, thanks for listening guys. I hope today's video has triggered some additional thinking, and if you have any questions or thoughts about the subject, then do reach out in the comments section below. And remember, if you want to see more of this content, then hit that subscribe button, and if you liked today's video, then hit that thumbs up. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next time. But first, we have our final 1v1. Let's do this for the cameras. What? Did you see him? What?